Shalom, April the 21st. I guess the world is waking up to the death of the Pope this morning. So I'm just going to read a few scriptures about Pope Gregory from the book of Revelations. This is from the Geneva Bible. The Geneva Bible of 1599. The Geneva Bible of 1599. It's really good. It's very similar to the King James Version, except it has footnotes. And the footnotes in the book of Revelations especially are very interesting. So we know that in Revelations 20, it talks about the beast and the false prophet cast into the lake of fire. The false prophet who works miracles to deceive those who have received the mark of the beast and worship its image is thrown into the lake of fire alongside the beast, the Antichrist. This is also mentioned in Revelations 20:10, where the devil who deceived them is cast into the lake of fire with the beast and the false prophet. In verse 19 it said, I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he received them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So today, when the false prophet died, I wanted to read these scriptures. In Revelations 20 in the Geneva Bible, it calls Pope Gregory the Seventh the Pope Necromancer. The popedom of Gregory the Seventh. This is Revelations chapter 20 in the Geneva Bible footnotes. Pope Gregory the Seventh, a monstrous necromancer, a witch, a warlock, a Satanist, a devil who has sex with the dead, and a pedophile. The 1,000-year falleth precisely upon the times of that wicked Hildebrand, who is called Pope Gregory the Seventh, a most damnable necromancer and sorcerer, whom Satan used as an instrument when he was loosed out of his bonds, thenceforth to annoy the saints of God with the most cruel persecutions, and the whole world with dissensions and most bloody wars. As Bino the Cardinal reporteth at the large, this is the first victory gotten over the dragon in the earth. I'm going to read this again. This is from Revelations 20 in the 1599 Geneva Bible footnotes. And it talks about Pope Gregory the Seventh, a most monstrous necromancer. The 1,000-year falleth precisely upon the times of that wicked Hildebrand, who is called Gregory the Seventh, a most damnable necromancer and sorcerer. He was a warlock who Satan used as an instrument when he was loosed out of his bonds. So the Pope and the Vatican in Rome have a long history of sorcery, necromancy, pedophilia, and Satan uses them as his instrument. This is straight out of the Geneva Bible. This is not me. This is Geneva Bible, Book of Revelations, verse 20, footnotes. And this Pope was used to annoy the saints of God with the most cruel persecutions, and the whole world with dissension and most bloody wars. This is the first victory gotten over the dragon in the earth. Now if you go and start at the beginning of Revelations 20, and you read the footnotes, it talks about the prophetic history of the victory of Jesus Christ when he overcame the dragon. That reminds me of a vision God gave me about 8 or 9 years ago. God's given me a lot of visions of the blood, the glory, the living water, demons falling from the sky like streaks when we bind them with the blood. But he showed me this one vision. It was a tsunami of glory. And when the tsunami of glory washed back out to the sea, the dragon was left dead on the beach. There was a tsunami of glory, and it left the dragon dead on the beach. And in Revelations 20, it calls the Pope the dragon. In the Geneva Bible, it calls the Pope the dragon. And there's a tsunami of glory hitting the earth right now, and it just left the dragon dead on the beach. Now, in Revelations 20, in the footnotes of the Geneva Bible, it talks about the prophetic history of Jesus Christ overcoming the dragon. One of the dragons that were overcome, and the other of the resurrection and last judgment unto the end of the chapter. The history of the dragon is double. First, of the first victory, after which he was bound by Jesus Christ, and the second is the last victory, whereby he is thrown down into everlasting punishment. Thence, the first history happened in the first time of the Christian church, when the dragon was thrown down from heaven by Christ, and he went about to molest the new birth of the church in the earth. For which cause I gave warning, said John the Revelator in the book of Revelations. John the Revelator was giving warning about the dragon pope, the necromancer, and the sorcerer. John the Revelator said, I gave warning about this, that this story of the dragon must be annexed unto that place. So the first victory and the second victory over the dragon, there's two victories. The first victory happened in the first time of the Christian church, when the dragon was thrown down from heaven by Christ and went about to molest the new birth of the church in the earth, which caused John the Revelator gave us warning. And then there is the last victory, where he is thrown down into everlasting punishment. That is hell. God threw down the angels which had sinned and bound them in chains of darkness to be kept unto damnation. It's Revelations 20 verse 1. When God threw down the angels in heaven who sinned and rebelled against him, and bound them in chains of darkness to be kept unto damnation. Continuing this history with the end is the 36th year from the Passion of Christ, when the church of the Jews were being overthrown. Satan essayed to invade the Christian church, gathered of the Gentiles, and to destroy part of her seed. The 1,000 year followeth precisely upon the times of that wicked Hildebrand, who is called Pope Gregory the a most damnable necromancer and sorcerer, whom Satan used as an instrument when he was loosed out of his bonds, thenceforth to annoy the saints of God with the most cruel persecutions, and the whole world with dissensions and most bloody wars. This is the first victory gotten over the dragon in the earth, namely with that public and violent deceit which he attempted before, and which after 1,000 years he most mightily procured in the Christian world, which being once expired, the second battle and the victory will be. This is a description of the common state of the Church of Christ in the earth in the space of 1,000 years, for which the devil was in bonds, in which the first, the authority, life, and common honor of the godly is declared. Secondly, the newness of life is preached unto the others by the gospel. After that space, finally he concludeth with promises. For judgment was committed to them as to members joined to the head, that Jesus Christ's office was given over to them. This was a type of the authority of the good and faithful servants of God in the church, taken from the manner of men, of the martyrs who suffered in those times, the martyrs who suffered after that both the beast were now risen up. This is a lot to read, but I'm just going to post all the scriptures in the box below. Thank you, Jesus.